The sky is blue, the grass is green. Great day to be alive and a great day for high school soccer, and that's what we have for you here on ETV. Hello, everybody. My name is Nathan Cron, joined by my broadcast partner Skip Newton and an award-winning ETV crew coming to you from the campus of Eagan High School, located in Eagan, Minnesota. We've got South Suburban soccer action here for you tonight between the Eagan Wildcats and the visiting Farmington Tigers. Farmington Tigers having a bit of a struggle this season scoring goals. We'll talk a little bit about that later. The Wildcats, on the other hand, having lost to Lakeville South a week and a half ago, have now righted the ship and run off a couple of victories, including an impressive victory on Saturday against Class 2A Hill Murray, one of the top teams in Class 2A. The Wildcats look to continue their momentum towards a number one seed in section as well as a potential conference title. And Skip Newton, for the Wildcats to be successful here tonight, they've got to do a number of things. Talk to us a little bit about what you expect here for these Wildcats.
You know, I really think they need to come out strong and they need to take care of business. They need to put a team that's really struggling this season. I mean, the Tigers coming in 9th place in the conference, just 2 points with a couple of draws. They really need to take control of the game early. You know, get 2 or 3 goals in the first half, keep the clean sheet, and show your dominance, because while they're tied for 5th in the conference, there is definite room to improve and make some headway here in the last 3 conference games coming up, you know, both tonight and then the last 3 of the games in the next week. But it's crunch time for these Wildcats. They don't really have a whole lot of margin for error, and they want to get good section seeding going into sections, which are just 2 weeks away.
We'll set your lineup for the Wildcats here momentarily. That's Seehafer, the senior captain for Enning. Enning back for Jolstrom, another senior captain who sends it over for Fall. Now to Cron. To Siljan. Now Enning. Leitenberg and Weisendonner are your other forwards. Bray and Siljan, as I said, are your midfields on the far side. Illyria Yin is your outside back on the far side. Farmington starting lineup solely in goal with Gallivan, Smits, Colsant, Johnson, Lindgren. Attack from the outside. Let's see if the Wildcats can cash in early on a Leitenberg run. They can't, but Yin knocks that down, and that's going to go. Does it stay in? Referee says no, that is going to go for a corner. So the first shot on goal is deflected, but it will go for a corner for the Wildcats.
Little surprised. It looked like that play earlier was offside. I was expecting the flag to go up. It did not. So an opportunity here for the Wildcats that we did not expect.
Bray's corner comes to the near post. It falls for Leitenberg, who puts it in the back of the net. Ava Leitenberg cashes in for the Wildcats off of a Bray corner. And the Wildcats are rolling here in the first 90 seconds of this match.
I said I wanted to see them get going early, and they certainly did, scoring in minute number 2. Nice to see them put one home off the set piece, off the corner, the first of the game. Leitenberg, she's been doing it all season long. Why not? Huge start here for the Wildcats.
Ava Leitenberg certainly was touted coming into this year as a player to keep an eye on. She had a hat trick, a 3-goal performance against the Rosemount Irish in the Wildcats' 3-2 victory, one of their biggest victories of the season so far. And whenever this team has needed offense, Ava Leitenberg has produced. Macy Bray with a nice corner, dropped right in the middle of a giant crowd of people. Actually, Weisendonner is going to get the assist off of that. Weisendonner must have come off of Weisendonner. And the first shot on goal results in a goal for the Wildcats. The kind of start you were looking for, Skip.
Absolutely. That's what you need to do, not only when you're at home, but when you're against a team that, you know, you should beat according to the records. I mean, the play this season has been a struggle for the Tigers. They've not performed maybe as well as they have historically, whereas the Wildcats, you know, doing fairly well, 8 wins, you know, with a 1 draw, 3 losses. And 3 losses for this Wildcat team is more than I think they might even be expecting. I mean, they fully expect themselves to make it back to the state tournament. Yeah, come out, get a lead early, and then keep the pressure on and really make this thing a no-doubter as we get close to halftime.
That ball gets sent back. Cron will give chase. Her defensive partner in the middle, Fall, is going to give her an outlet, but she's going to put that into touch. As you mentioned, the Wildcats with 3 losses on the season. The first was to East Ridge, which is ranked in the top 4 in the state. The second loss was against White Bear Lake, number 1 ranked team in the state. And then a hiccup a week and a half ago against Lakeville South, where Wildcats could not generate any offense despite some opportunities. Had one go off the crossbar and down, and we all thought, that is the Wildcat supporters thought it might have crossed the net, but crossed the line completely. But the assistant referee was Johnny on the spot, said nope, it did not. And these Cougars escaped with a 0-1 victory over the Wildcats. So Wildcats will look to continue their momentum. Last game out, they took on the Burnsville Blaze as Weisendonner goes 1v3. She's got Leitenberg streaking on the far side. Leitenberg's got a slam on the brakes, though. Run to the middle by Bray, and that ball gets put in a touch. But the Wildcats having no difficulty with a struggling and hopefully someday developing Blaze program, winning 12-0. That was a half where the game where the Wildcats would be passing the ball around, really possessing the ball, really not trying to score in that second half, although a couple of seniors, Isabella Fall, Kate Cron, Olivia Ehrenberg did get some goals. Players who play defense or don't play very much. It was Ehrenberg's first varsity goal.
Always nice to see players get their first goals of their career. Sometimes it takes games like that for that to happen. One of the nice plays we saw setting this up down here, this possession for the Wildcats, the attacking third on that long ball. Weisendonner did a nice job of letting the defender misplay it and just going past, and it led to a break opportunity. I mean, it was 1-on-3, but she had a lot of open space, and that's what led to this possession for the Wildcats.
The Tigers will look to counter. They need a quick response if they're going to climb back into this game. They certainly don't want to let the Wildcats get away from them as that ball comes off of Cron back for Weissel. Weissel can pick this up. She does. It's been interesting to watch the maturation of Maddie Weissel as you see her move to her preferred corner of the penalty area to take the punt. It's been interesting to watch her. This is her first season as a varsity keeper, as Natalie Valaga had played the last 2 seasons for the Wildcats, and Weissel has, the speed of the game is faster, Skip Newton. The rules are always going to be enforced tightly, and sometimes those things can be really challenging for a young keeper.
Yeah, and she came out in those first couple of games and I think struggled to adjust, but really it's been almost a different keeper in the last, I'll say, 3 quarters, even maybe 80% of the season. So a nice job there, developed quickly, and you have to do that at the high school level. I mean, the season is so short and so quick. We're already the last week of September. We're talking about 1 week before sections.
In the last 4 games, Weissel has, and this Wildcat defense in total, has only conceded 1 goal. The ball's going to get over everybody. It's going to find its way back for Soli. Soli will pick that up. But in four varsity soccer games, conceding only 1 goal, that's not a bad record for a defense and goalkeeper.
And that's the kind of rhythm you want your back line and your goalkeeper to get into, that habit of making it really difficult for other teams to score, buttoning things down, good communication, not letting great scoring chances develop, and keeping everything to the outside and really limiting the number of chances on frame.
Wildcats with an all-senior starting forward group of Seehafer, Weisendonner, and Leitenberg. Those 3 girls have been together for quite some number of years in this program and often in club soccer as well. In fact, there are a handful of teammates, of girls on the pitch that are on different teams this year, or I should say this game, and enjoy time in the off season. I think we have a foul here against the Wildcats. Whistle certainly was very quiet, but a free kick for the Tigers.
Yeah, I did not see that foul, but
now there's some contact, but certainly not much to write home about. Free kick comes in towards the edge of the penalty area. Battle there by the Wildcats to get it out. It was a nice job that time by the Tigers to try to keep it in, but the Wildcats will break. See if this ball squirts through. Seehafer has a nose for the goal. She's going to put somebody into pressure, and that ball is going to be put into likely touch. But Seehafer, smelling blood in the water, trying to poke that one past the defense and create a one-on-one opportunity with Soli. Not that time.
All those defenders, especially on the outside against Seehafer and against Leitenberg, they need to be aware of where those two girls are at all times on the pitch. Their speed can just close distance so quickly, and they may think they have more time than they have. I mean, that was an opportunity there where Seehafer just absolutely shut down that distance so fast, and she almost got there. She was only a couple steps away.
It's an all-state track tandem in Seehafer and Leitenberg. A number of fast and athletic players on this Wildcat team, as you would expect. Bray with a nice turn feeds that forward. Leitenberg is going to start the run, and Sully will claim. But the Wildcats have had great success with the outside players. Weisendonner more of a back-to-the-goal type of forward, center forward. Fall from her center back position finds Seehafer, and really the same thing here for the Wildcat girls as for the Wildcat boys. Get an early start, play good fundamental soccer, and limit your mistakes. Jolstrom with a nice one-touch to Illyria Yin, who pitches that forward. Caught Weisendonner going the wrong way, though. Weisendonner was coming towards her to check for the ball, and she went over the top. That's the kind of thing that you'd like to get straightened out sometime before sections.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Wildcats do a little more of the passing on the ground near the outside. I think they've got an advantage out there. Again, we've talked about the speed on the outside, but work the ball down the outsides and then see if they can't generate some crosses into the middle of the field, put some shots on frame instead of trying to play the long ball, which it looks like the back line so far has been prepared for, as well as the goalkeeper.
Carpentier tries to put this back past the Wildcat back line, but Enning steps and puts that into touch. So good height there from visually, you can tell good height and size for these Farmington Tigers. So we wonder if maybe they get some balls in the air, maybe are able to attack with an aerial bent. Good headers there by Jolstrom and Leitenberg. Leitenberg around one defender. Now she's got room to run. She has Weisendonner also making a run. Seehafer on the far side. Good defense that time by the Tigers, as they had to get that right. In fact, not only did they get it right, they won the throw. Nicely done.
That was a big defensive play there. If Leitenberg's able to get past that defender, she's now created a 3-on-2. And she's got plenty of open space, so she's gonna eat up all that space with her dribble, allowing Seehafer and Weisendonner to fill into the middle and create a great scoring chance.
Seehafer defended there well by the Tigers, and a foul in the back there against the Tigers. I think that was an easy one for the center referee. Bray. A little late on that ball, but they try a 1-2 combination there with Weisendonner and Leitenberg. It doesn't quite come off, but this is the kind of situation where the Wildcats historically have, even when they've had fast starts, from time to time they've let teams come back into games, and that is certainly not what the Wildcats want to do in this situation, as you see Enning playing that back for fall. In fact, last year, these two teams, despite the fact that the Wildcats went to the state tournament and were Section 3-3A champions, the Farmington Tigers beat the Wildcats down in Farmington 3-0. The Wildcats outshot the Tigers, and I'm not exaggerating, by a factor of 10. It did not matter because the Tigers did something the Wildcats could not do, which was put the ball into the net. The first shot of the first half was a goal for the Tigers, and they took off from there. They only had maybe 5 or 6 shots on goal the entire game, but managed to get 3 goals. The Wildcats literally had 50 shots, and they were not able to break the back line of the Tigers. So kudos to the Tigers last year. Wildcats will remember that and will certainly adjust their expectations and plan.
Well, so far so good as far as the shooting percentage, if you will, having scored on their only shot. The one thing to mention, you've been around the sport long enough, you will see games like that. I mean, games where one team dominates shots, dominates possession, and they just can't finish. And that's why finishing is so important.
This ball comes off of Weisendonner, finds Leitenberg off the post. Illyria Yin hustling to keep that in. She does. She sends it in towards Bray. Bray chips it forward. That's going to get into touch. But Leitenberg unlucky there, denied by the woodwork, or should I say the metal work. And we stay at 1-0.
A great scoring opportunity there, and we were just talking about how important finishing is. Leitenberg almost finished for a second time. I mean, just a brilliant shot just off the post. Absolutely zero chance for the goalkeeper to make a play on that. She just had to get lucky, and she did.
And Kylie Weisendonner, again, with her back to the goal, you know, this is frankly where she's always seemed to make some of her best plays, and that time with a great header. Not really a flick on. I wouldn't call it a flick on for Leitenberg, but I would say a header that created that opportunity for Leitenberg.
Weisendonner, a physical player, so really comfortable with her back to the goal, shielding off that defender, and great vision. I mean, she's able to see her teammates. She knows, you know, where they're at, where they're going, and she can anticipate those runs and make those passes to open space.
Seehafer with a turn. See what she's able to do, taking on one defender, edge of the penalty area, comes back to the middle, slides with the left foot, finds Bray. Bray's touch let her down, and the defense was able to rally.
Great pass across, a nice cross there by Seehafer. Unfortunately, like you said, Bray could not control that. If she brings that down clean, she's in a great position to shoot.
Good header away that time by Gallivan. Falls for again for Bray. Bray battling with it there. They'll be off of her and out into touch. Positive start for these Wildcats. Good scoring opportunities early. But all still to play for both of these teams as Leitenberg's pass is intercepted. And that ball will get sent over everyone and into touch. I want to thank you all for joining us here on ETV, our award-winning ETV crew, bringing you the sights and sounds of this high school soccer game between the Wildcats and the Tigers. Wildcats, of course, in blue with the white numbers moving from left to right on your screen. Tigers in all white. Fall continuing her bid for an all-state nomination, finds Leitenberg. Leitenberg tries a 1-2 with Weisendonner. Doesn't quite come off. That timing just hasn't been on yet tonight. As Jolstrom knocks that down and finds it now for Bray.
Eagan doing a nice job controlling possession, controlling the pace, controlling play. They're staying patient. They're not trying to rush things or force things, and I think they're confident that if they keep doing this, that the opportunities will present themselves.
You see the Wildcats really spreading the field. There's an opportunity for Leitenberg if she's able to get in. She's on her left foot. She's into the penalty area. Tries to cross it back. Tries to go negative, but nobody was in that vicinity. And the Wildcats will have to settle for a deep throw. The Tigers, in their last 11 games, have been shut out 6 times and have only scored 8 times in their last 11 games, Skip. So already the Wildcats on the right side of history, so to speak, the right side of the statistics moving forward against these Tigers.
Yeah, nice job there by Leitenberg. Unfortunately, as she was trying to get a shot, her touch went too heavy, so she took her own angle away. But she didn't just turn and take a bad angle play. She did a nice job of bringing that negative ball back. It didn't connect, but that's exactly what you want to do there. She drops that back to somebody who's open. That is a golden scoring opportunity. So a really nice heady play by Leitenberg, making something positive out of what wasn't, you know, exactly clean.
Ball comes in from Bray with her left foot. Yin pops that back up looking for Seehafer. Seehafer gives chase. Watched there closely by the Farmington defense. And Farmington defense unlucky that time, but they weren't able to continue that run. Nice play that time by Johnson. Seehafer inside to Siljan. Siljan. Weisendonner lays off for Seehafer. Seehafer with a great cross. Somebody in a blue jersey's got to get on the end of that cross, Skip.
Yeah, Seehafer with a really nice job of pivoting those hips. She really rotated around well to make sure that she didn't blast that thing into either the side of the net or into touch. Got it back out away from the keeper. Really nice cross.
Fall finds Leitenberg skipping over a level. Now Leitenberg gets it back. She's going to play that inside for Weisendonner. Weisendonner is defensed and pushed off the ball. Nice foot skills there by the Tigers on the far side. Siljan with the ball. She's going to miss this pass, and Enning out of nowhere is going to bail everybody out by claiming that ball, although the Tigers claim. Charpentier with the ball. She turns, works on fall, as she's done all season so well, so good at using her body, her low center of gravity to take the ball. Now Fall with all sorts of room. Isabella Fall feeds it forward for Seehafer, and she'll retreat to her defensive position.
As Fall was coming across, both Seehafer and midfielder had both diagonally moved towards the center, leaving a huge open space on this side of the pitch. Would have loved to have seen an outside back make a run into that open space there, because Fall was ready to make that pass.
Wildcats dominating possession. Let's see if Weisendonner can find one of her teammates. She does. Leitenberg sends that in towards the edge of the penalty area, but it's cleared by the Tigers. Charpentier with a header finds Fall. Fall pitches that forward for Lyria Yin.
Farmington.
This ball will find its way back for Seehafer. Again, she has to take a touch, but lots of room for Josie Seehafer if she wants to attack, and she does. Wildcats need to be just as Colsant comes up, pokes that away from Siljan. So the Wildcats not quite as sharp in possession, Skip Newton, as maybe they need to be here to continue their level of domination. That was a bit of a dangerous pass by Fall, but Cron bails everybody out by taking possession.
Yeah, they need to be a little sharper. They're not quite connecting on some of these passes. They're close. I mean, you can tell that they're getting themselves in the right position. They're making the right runs, and for the most part, and they're making good decisions. Just maybe technically not putting the ball where they really want it to be successful.
Kjellstrom switches the field to Enning. 1-2 with Seehafer, rolls off the back of Enning's foot, and Siljan will be called to the defensive pump. Kjellstrom with it again. Wildcats from the defense to the midfield seem to be controlling the ball pretty well. But when it comes to the midfields and the forward combinations, they're not quite connecting yet. Well, I have to see what the Wildcats do. They're starting in their normal 4-3-3 formation.
Number 15. Also in is Olivia Urath, number 28. Going off.
Substitutions for the Tigers. And we see some substitutions for the Wildcats also preparing to roll onto the field. Cron finds Bray. Of course, these Wildcats sitting in a good place to win potentially a conference title, a back-to-back conference title, as they are the defending South Suburban Conference champions, as well as perhaps get a #1 seed in the upcoming section playoffs. Of course, that's still to be determined. They have to win out. Certainly, I would imagine if they win out against Prior Lake, Apple Valley, and Eastview, they would be the #1 seed, owning a head-to-head victory over the Rosemount Irish. But it's all to play there, all to play for there, for all of these teams. As Weisendonner comes to the middle, tries to feed Seehafer. Don't count Seehafer out. She gets a chance to catch that ball. She's so fast, but ran out of real estate.
Yeah, we haven't seen her with the ball on her foot able to attack open space and really go one-on-one with the defender yet, and that's where her speed can really be to her advantage. We will see if the Wildcats are able to set that up, somewhere here in the last, 17 minutes, 18 minutes of the first half, but Seehafer's speed we've seen trying to run balls down or close space. It's been a nice asset for her entire career.
Wildcats come into this game with a record of 8-3-1. The Farmington Tigers 2-4-6. That's right, 6 draws, owing in large part to their inability to score goals.
And if they're not scoring, but they're still getting draws, that means defensively they're probably pretty strong. If they have a strength, it's probably on the defensive side. So the more times Eagan can crack that defense early, the more it's really going to become a lopsided affair pretty quickly.
Seehafer inside. She's going to have it on her foot. It's going to be put into touch, and a corner for the Wildcats. I thought that was a corner for the Wildcats. I'm not sure how that's not a corner for the Wildcats.
I wonder if that clear was deflected off of the Wildcat forward. I couldn't tell. I thought it was a corner as well, but definitely a break here for Farmington. Maybe we didn't see it quite right, but
And the assistant referee and the center referee seem to be in agreement, and that's, of course, all that matters. Goal kick, Farmington. Ball finds its way to Bray. Check it. That's Burke. Burke, who has checked in. We had some substitutions for the Wildcats. We'll get those here shortly as Evie Burke has checked in, as well as Tess Triplett. So Triplett and Burke, number 6 and number 7, have checked in for the Wildcats. Seehafer's ball misses Bray. And now this ball will find touch on the far side as it will roll out right in front of the Wildcat bench. Both Triplett and Burke have had some good first varsity seasons for these Wildcats. Triplett, of course, scoring against the Minnetonka Skippers in that big come-from-behind win. And Burke, ever present with her ability to get in the air. I will say, Skip Newton, that Evie Burke is probably on this team, this Wildcat team, probably the best player. And an offside call here against Triplett. But Evie Burke is probably the best aerial attack, aerial threat that the Wildcats have, as she wins so many balls in the air.
good run there by Triplett. Unfortunately, just a couple of steps too far past that last defender.
Into the last 15 minutes. Skip, all to do here for the Wildcats. Wildcats look to be dominating the game. No shots on goal for the Farmington Tigers, but only a couple of shots for the Wildcats. Certainly one in the back of the net. Good for them, but not exactly on the scoreboard a dominating performance, is it?
Yeah, I'd really like to see not just another goal before half, but more opportunities, right? Let's get some down there and get more chances. I think that'll increase your odds, of course, of scoring naturally. But, you know, the two shots that they've had, the one went in, the second one off the pipe. I mean, they're almost 2 for 2, but they do need to generate more scoring chances.
Punt finds Colsant, who knocks that down. Falls for Bray. Bray sprays that out for Fall. That ball, again, the passes just aren't quite as crisp as they should be or need to be. Now Triplett stepping quickly. Seehafer back for Triplett. Triplett dances around one defender. Nicely done by Triplett. Triplett with good defense there by Colsant. 1-2 again from Seehafer, and that ball gets punched back into the defensive end here for the Wildcats.
Farmington doing a really good job of keeping their shape in the middle of the field. They're really just blocking up that middle with so many defenders. I think it's going to be really tough for the Wildcats to complete a lot of those 1-2s as you see in the middle of the pitch. They need to work the outside with their speed and then bring it in. I think they may have more success.
Ella Horn checking in for Yin on the far side, and Ehrenberg, Olivia Ehrenberg checking in also. She scored her first varsity goal in that rout against the Blaze 2 nights ago. So congratulations to Olivia Ehrenberg. Fall, now Leitenberg. And that ball's taken. It's just seems like the passing for the Wildcats not quite as crisp as it needs to be. And if I sound like a broken record, it's because, well, I am. Wildcats should be putting together a few more passes. Although, as you say, Skip, the Farmington defensive record is not been overly blemished over the last handful of games either. They've done a good job of keeping their opponents to low scoring totals. Opportunity for Seehafer. She's able to control it. Now Ehrenberg. Ball to the middle. Triplett. Triplett's pass blocked. That ball's going to find touch. As you say, Skip, the Wildcats not generating a lot of offense, although as I say that, here comes Leitenberg, dangerous, edge of the penalty area, and it's in the back of the net! Just like that, the Wildcats strike for a 2-0 lead.
A great play there. We saw that speed. Leitenberg, perfect pass across, and just a slam dunk here in minute number 28. That's exactly what we were talking about. We need more scoring opportunities, but when they've had them, they've made good on them.
It was Seehafer from Leitenberg. So senior captain to senior captain, a whole slew of substitutes here for both teams. Rozga will come in, Westerman will come in for the Wildcats. Bumpers will come in on the far side. So other than Isabella Fall and Anna Enning, everyone's been substituted out in a blue uniform. And that is just what the doctor ordered. So the Wildcats, with their second goal of the game on their second shot on goal of the game.
Yes, yeah, second on frame.
Second on frame.
The other one literally hit frame.
Yes, which isn't a shot on goal, despite the fact that it is a shot and hits the goal. It's not a shot on goal. So an existential conundrum there for the philosophers in the audience. But in any event, we play on.
And we saw an example of what we were talking about earlier with that Leitenberg speed. I mean, she just blew by that outside defender, and all of a sudden, not only was she free in the penalty area, but she was free by several yards. And a nice pass across, and Seehafer was right there to just slam that home. And the goalkeeper had absolutely zero chance.
And not much Sully could do there, no question about that. The Wildcats striking quickly. Triplet to the middle, triplet right foot, triplet towards Sully. She claims, no problem there. So another shot on goal that does not go into the back of the net, which has so far been rare for the Wildcats. And the Tigers statistically are not a team that scores very many goals, and when they get down by 2 goals, Skip, it's, let's just say from a wins-loss standpoint, it's not a pretty picture for the Tigers. So they're going to have to dig deep and really flip the script in terms of how things have gone for them so far.
Yeah, when you're down, when you're a team that struggles to score, a 2-0 deficit really feels like 4. I mean, it feels like such a big mountain to climb when you just struggle to even put one goal on the board. And so that's something where they, it's tough to develop that at the end of the season. I mean, you either have it or you don't, and they can only create so many chances. And if Eagan can just continue to play really smart, at this point in the middle third and on the back third, they'll probably be fine, because they're just going to prevent Farmington from putting any shots on.
Mia Kosnick has also checked in here for the Wildcats. She's got 2 goals on the season. Good defense far side that time by Westerman. Check it, that's not Westerman, that's Horn. Ball comes towards the back line. Fall puts that out towards Ehrenberg. So Triplet has slid from a forward position back into a CAM position, putting Kosnick up top. Kosnick plays that ahead. Let's see what happens here. There's an opportunity for Westerman. She was looking for an opportunity to break, as she had the game winner against the Pioneers on Saturday. So the Hill Murray Pioneers, a Class 2A program, but one of the best in the state at Class 2A, took on the Wildcats. Wildcats were dominant, winning 2-0. Pioneers just didn't have very many shots on goal. Had a couple of scoring opportunities, but really didn't come to much. You see some great defense there by the Tigers, though. Let's see if Kosnick can play that head for Bumpers. Bumpers has got some speed. She's not the only, Leitenberg's not the only left wing that the Wildcats have with some speed, and the speed creates, Skip, a corner.
A really nice through ball there by Kosnick. Just fed that one perfectly through. I mean, a little too far as the breakaway and connecting with Bumpers, but she set up this, and it's a corner kick opportunity. The first corner kick of the game resulted in a goal.
Kosnick will take this. Bumpers and Burke will lurk around the goal area near Soley. What does Kosnick have up her sleeve? It's going to be a left foot outswinger. Now they're going to play it short. Opportunity here for Triplet. They tried to play it short back to Kosnick. It didn't come off. And Triplet will keep the ball in and near the corner. Now she creates space. Now left foot. It's blocked. And it falls for the Tigers, who get a clearance. Wildcats have tried to work that short corner a couple of times. Twice this season they have been caught in an offside position. working that short corner. Once it did work, and it worked very, very well against I believe it was Lakeville North, but those short corners, I'll tell you, Skip, the fans and the parents and the supporters of a team, when those short corners don't work, it feels like your lottery ticket's a loser.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it can be frustrating because you feel like you've lost your opportunity to put the ball in front of the net. A good short corner play will change the angle and allow that eventual cross to maybe even turn into a shot. But the trick there is, both the girl taking the corner and then any girl that's up, in front of the goalkeeper or near the goal line, as soon as that ball's played in, they have to be aware of what the defense is doing, because if all the defense starts pushing up, they're immediately going to be in an offside position. And so you really have to be aware of not only where you are on the pitch, but where the other team is after that ball's played in.
Horn earns the throw back for Triplett. Now Ehrenberg, she'll switch the field. Westerman can't quite control, but falls for Rozga. And Rozga's pass just a little too heavy.
Yeah, missed opportunity there maybe to counterattack. I thought space was provided had they connected on that outlet pass.
This one comes up and over the top as Weisel off her line quickly. Nicely done. Fall watches it go into her keeper's hands. And good punt finds its way towards the 50-yard line. It's played back and knocked down by Enning, and a foul, easy foul there to call. Hard foul to watch. Foul against Anna Enning.
Whistle on the play, foul.
Unofficially, just 2 fouls on both teams, 2 apiece. So a good clean half so far.
Tigers with an opportunity here. They're still looking for their first shot on goal, their first shot at all on Weisel. So we'll see if
McGee, number 37.
McGee's able to heave this into the penalty area. It's knocked down that time by the Wildcats. Let's see what happens as they break. Ehrenberg lays off for Horn. And now the Wildcats will look to break as Bumpers has lots of room. I'm not sure she knew she had so much room behind her. It was free. She does a nice job of making the run. Koznick plays her down the line, and it gets into touch. Unlucky there, but good combination play by those 2 forwards.
Yeah, nifty opportunity there created by Koznick. She almost pulled it off. I mean, just a quick little pass down the far touch, just into touch a little bit.
Someone's got to tell. You almost get the sense that from time to time the girls go quiet. I mean, listening to teenage girls as a parent, you say to yourself, I don't know how they can be quiet sometimes. but the reality is, somebody's got to tell Courtney Bumpers, you've got to turn, and you've got 30 yards of space in front of you.
Yeah, turn with the ball, don't stop it.
Turn with the ball,
Absolutely.
don't stop it. Just go with it. Because, she could still be, she could take 20, 30 yards on her own without even having to pass to Koznick and let Koznick make the run to the middle.
That's one of those things where you're watching, the game as our viewers are. It's difficult to hear the fact that there's a lot of times a lot of communication going on the pitch. I mean, the players are talking to each other constantly. The coaches are yelling instructions, and it's a game where when you've got 11 on each side, there has to be communication, or it's going to be chaos. You're never going to be on the same page.
Farmington with a deep throw. They've got a number of players on the field. I have not been able to pick up all of them, but a number of players have come off the bench for the Tigers. You can see some of their starters huddling behind their bench, trying to talk about how they want to move things forward as that ball's going to find its way certainly over the end line. And a little extra push for Isabella Fall just for her trouble, and a goal kick for the Wildcats coming with just over 3 minutes to go. This the first of 4 games to end the season for the Wildcats. Their next game against Prior Lake on Saturday. That's here at Wildcat Stadium. Will be broadcast here on ETV. Then games against the Eastview Lightning and the Apple Valley Eagles. So 3 conference games to go for the Wildcats. If they run the table, they will be back-to-back conference champions. And if there should be a hiccup, who knows what could happen. I love speculation as much as the next person is Lightenberg is back on the pitch. So Bumpers has been withdrawn, and Leitenberg is actually out there right now. Hopefully Bumpers not injured. No, check it. Leitenberg has moved to the outside position. Bumpers has moved to the center forward position. And Kosnick has slid back to the midfield position. Oh, gee whiz. Coach Q is just, he's absolutely driving me insane with this.
Keeping you on your toes, Nathan.
Yeah, no kidding.
Moving players around like that. It's an interesting couple of positional changes. I really like Kosnick up front. You know, as she replaced Weisendonner, I thought, you know, you're really just replacing a like skill for like skill. They're both very comfortable with their back to the goal. So that's a nice exchange there for the Wildcats. They don't lose a lot as far as, you know, the style of play and the ability to run their offense. Interesting how they've got her move back now.
Leitenberg's ball for Westerman. Westerman tries to get that controlled down. She's going to try to go around a defender, but the defender says not today. Allie Westerman. Now the Wildcats will claim. Westerman now with the ball. Now she goes around one defender. Opportunity here to take on another. Starts, stops, finds Triplett. Triplett to the corner, and that ball will be to the side of the net.
For the Tigers.
About a minute to go here, Skip, as we head into halftime.
Number 7.
Assess this game. Where are the Wildcats where they need to be?
1 minute remaining.
As far as this game goes, yes. I think as far as getting ready for the last 3 games and heading into sections, I think they need to clean some things up, you know, as they enter the attacking third. They need to put more passes together to finish off the attack, or they control the ball very well in the back line. As you've indicated, the connection between the defense and the midfielders it's there. They control the ball well there. It's that generating good shots seems to be what's holding them back right now.
Triplett battling on the near sideline, finds Westerman. Westerman only has one defender in front of her. She'll cross looking for Bumpers. Check it, that was Leitenberg. So Ava Leitenberg already tonight with an assist and a goal, a 2-point night, if you want to call it that, for Leitenberg as we enter the last 5 seconds of the half. This ball will be heaved to the center. And I want to say that the Wildcats will take a 2-0 lead into halftime. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, folks, for the second half between the Wildcats and the Tigers. Stick around, and we'll see you for the second half coming up soon here on ETV.
On the video board at the north end of the stadium is a video that has been put together. The Wildcats girls soccer booster honoring
Welcome back to the second half here. South Suburban girls soccer action between the Eagan Wildcats and the visitors from the Farmington Tigers. Wildcats will take the field and defend the south goal to the right of your screen. Tigers will break their huddle momentarily and assume the defensive positions on the north end of the goal and north end of the field. And we will be underway very, very shortly. The Wildcats enjoying, of course, a 2-0 lead thanks to Ava Leitenberg's goal in the second minute and Josie Seehafer's 28th minute tally. So that's the difference between these two teams. The Tigers, Skip Newton, as we bring you back into the conversation. Skip, the Tigers, no shots on goal. Something's got to change for these Tigers here in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely no offense whatsoever. No threat, really. I mean, it feels like we've barely mentioned, the goalkeeper, Maddie Weisel's name at all in the first half. And even defensively, it feels like you're not even really mentioning the back line much. It's been all the midfielders. It's been all the forwards. And having said that, you'd think they'd have way more than 4 shots on goal, but it's really been dominant in the middle third and then struggling to get those shots. Now, the good news is they've been very efficient. When they've had shots, they've been very good shots, and they've put 2 home, nearly 3 as they put 1 off the pipe. So I'm looking for more shots in the second half, but from a Farmington perspective, they're going to have to change something up in order to generate some offense.
This is as clean a stat sheet, a blank for both teams, as clean a stat sheet as I think I've ever had at a Wildcat soccer game. We'll see if we get a few more tally marks here in the second half as the Tigers start with the ball moving again from left to right on your television screen. I'll set your lineup here for the Wildcats as Jolstrom with it, punches that forward for Weisendonner. She has it on her left foot. She slides that through. Can't quite get to Leitenberg, and that'll be put in touch. So Leitenberg, Weisendonner, and Seehafer are your forwards. Illyria Yin, Enning, Kron, and Fall are your back line, with Siljan, Bray, and Jolstrom in the middle. That ball falls unkindly for Seehafer, and the Tigers are looking to break.
Boy, Seehafer almost picked her pocket there at the end. She was close. That was a tough play for the defender. She has to wait for that cross to get to her, and she knows that Seehafer's coming quickly from behind. It was a nice cross by Elleria Yin.
So despite the fact that the Wildcats enjoy a 2-0 lead, they will be looking to try to create some offensive opportunities here against the Tiger back line. As you see Seehafer, now Yin steps and sends that to the middle, but it's intercepted and taken away that time by the Tigers. That was Johnson, and it ends up in touch. So the Wildcats will definitely need to clean up a few things. Imagine that Coach Q at halftime maybe said something like, okay, like what we're doing, like generally what we're seeing, but we need to be sharper, we need to be cleaner, we need to generate more than 4 or 5 shots in half, even if 2 of them do happen to go in. Bray with it, spins, turns. Now she switches the field. Nicely done by Macy Bray. Finds Illyria Yin, who finds Leitenberg. Leitenberg already with a goal and an assist tonight will attack the outside. That ball is going to find its way into touch, and Leitenberg's touch let her down there, and the chance goes begging.
Yin did a nice job of feeding that to Leitenberg. We pretty much could have anticipated Leitenberg making that outside move. She loves that outside move to her left. I'd love to see her develop a feint to that and bring it back into the right. I know the right is not her strong foot, but one more move to throw the defender off, because a good defender will realize, okay, she's constantly going to her left.
Seehafer around one defender, but good team defense there by the Tigers. Creates a throw for the Wildcats. Good team defense that time by the Tigers, specifically number 38, Riley Lindgren. Enning pitches that in towards Leitenberg. Leitenberg off of her head, falls for Siljan. Siljan out for Yin. Yin in for Leitenberg. Leitenberg can't quite control that. And it gets away from everyone. Charpentier going to battle Fall with it. Fall comes away with it. Nicely done. Switches the field. Dangerous pass there, but it finds Enning. Oh, Enning turns that ball over to Charpentier. Lucky for the Wildcats that Fall was able to connect. Now back for Weissel. Weissel will take a touch. A little bit of indecision there from Maddie Weissel. And now the Wildcats will look to break as that ball will be fed through. That's off of the Tigers. It's not going to be a back pass, but I wondered if maybe that might find its way over the end line because that had a lot of heat on it. Cron with the defense there. Now Leary again with the defense as Tigers try to bring that through a couple of defenders, and a foul against the Tigers here. First of the second half. Wildcats take it quickly. Leary Yin's ball looking for Leitenberg. Again, that's a situation where Leary Yin's not under any pressure. She needs to there needs to be better coordination, I think, with Leitenberg because she's not under any pressure to make that pass.
And it's okay if you make it, but then it should be accurate because you're not under pressure, right? Like you should be able to complete the pass, and it was just a step too far and ended up being a turnover. So I think those are the little things. A little surprise there, but those are the little things we're seeing here tonight where they're just not. They're like a one step off from that connecting pass, and it's preventing them from putting on more pressure.
Cron with a free kick. Cron scored also in that romp over the Blaze. Cron will punch this towards Seehafer. Ball gets over the top, and it gets put into touch by the alert Tiger defense. But again, it's if in soccer you kept a statistic for what in tennis you call it unforced error, right, Skip. I get a sense that the Wildcats might have a few here. So it's all. I mean, they're playing well, but not perhaps as clean as we've seen, and not as clean as they would like to be.
And it's possible that part of that is due to the nature of the game, where we talked about as we came out of half, Farmington has not put any pressure on. They haven't put any shots on, and so Eagan feels comfortable. Maybe the intensity has dropped just a little bit. Not ideal, but it happens. I mean, if they feel like while they're only up 2, it feels like a bigger lead and almost insurmountable. Maybe that's impacting their sharpness a little bit.
Colson intercepts Cron's pass, and the Tigers will look to break. Nicely done on the outside. That's the Tiger attack to the outside. Charpentier sends that in towards Weissel, and Weissel claims that easily. You see a little bit of disappointment there on the Farmington player's part that she just didn't have any runners, as that was a good cross. Punt finds Bray. Jolstrom. Siljan. Siljan's pass is blocked. That's off of Farmington, but claimed now by Seehafer. Seehafer with some fancy footwork. Creates some space for herself. Sends it across for Leitenberg. Here's Leitenberg making the run. Opportunity for the Wildcats. Shot solely save. Well worked by the Wildcats. A shot on goal, but a save for Soley.
Now there's an opportunity that was created by some great connecting passes there. Seehafer did a nice job working that ball into the middle. Great pass across, and another successful pass right to the middle. A golden opportunity just shot right at Soley. She did a nice move to her left to make that save.
So a foul against the Wildcats. Referee was playing advantage. So despite the fact that there was a foul, what would have been a foul on Cron, or against Cron, the Tigers will get the free kick. 5 Tigers behind the ball, despite being down by 2 goals. Free kick comes in towards the edge of the penalty area and will drift all the way through for a goal kick.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting point there. You're down 2-0. You have 0 shots on goal. We are in the 49th minute. Why are you not putting more girls down there when you have an opportunity? You know you're going to get the ball down near the penalty area. I think that's an opportunity missed there for Farmington. They should be taking more chances when those chances do present themselves.
Weisendonner's pass intercepted. She gets it back now, taken away that time by the Tigers. Weisendonner doing whatever she can to try to keep that ball and get it back if she loses it. Now the Tigers will have a chance to turn on it. Illyria Yin with some alert defense.
Oh, great teamwork there between Yin and Fall. I mean, Fall did a nice job of using her body to shield off the Farmington player just enough to allow Illyria Yin to get in there and make that play.
Ball comes back for Cron. Cron sends it forward. You get a sense that maybe the Wildcats are trying to overcomplicate things. Here's a great opportunity, a great run. Great run by Leitenberg, wasn't rewarded, and then Seehafer slowed down, and Siljan looked like she expected Seehafer to keep making the run. Again, just lack of coordination there as Leitenberg was making the run, Seehafer wasn't, and she fed it to the wrong side.
Yeah, Leitenberg had her girl beat. I mean, she had space in between, and the ball was there. The opportunity to make that pass was made. It's interesting to know, what was the thinking there to not do that. I understand that a lot of times you want to switch fields, go to the other side, but in this case, I think the play should have been right back to Leitenberg.
So the Wildcats making a substitution as Triplett comes in for Illyria Yin, and the Wildcats making a change of formation. So now moving to a 3-back, pushing another player into the midfield to create some opportunities. Colsant feeds teammate to the near side. This ball comes towards Weissel. And I guess arguably the first shot of the game for the Tigers. I'm not sure if it was on frame or not. Let's give it to her being on frame. Why not?
From our angle, I don't think that was going to go in, but
hard to say.
Close enough, and I think the official
say.
statistician said that's a shot on frame and a save.
So the Weissel with her first save of the night. Wildcats, again, as I said, now have switched to 3 at the back, pushing another player into the midfield. The idea behind this, of course, is that you're going to create potentially some more offense by having more visibility in the midfield, some more bodies in the midfield. Jolstrom's pass intercepted. Colsant turns, has it on her right foot, feeds that forward until Enning picks it off.
Well, in the changed formation, it tells me a couple things, potentially. One, perhaps Coach Q is a little bit frustrated as well with the lack of scoring opportunities. And so he's gonna mix things up to see if he can't do something to get the girls moving, get them, more focused on putting things together in the attacking third. The second thing is, we've seen this before from the girls, and he wants to continue to mix this in case he needs this later on.
Opportunity for Leitenberg. It's spilled by Soli. Triplett with it. Wildcats. Bray gets it to Leitenberg. Leitenberg slides that across, and Triplett in an offside position.
Whistle, Wildcats offside.
So a scramble there for the Wildcats. A couple of shots.
Indirect.
One on goal. Indirect free kick coming up as the Wildcats were caught in an offside position. The second time tonight they've been guilty of that violation. But Soli spilled it, and the Wildcats almost cashed in.
And they did a nice job of quickly responding to take advantage of that spill. I mean, all of a sudden it felt like the intensity for the Wildcats forwards and midfielders in the area picked up, tenfold, and they were all over that. It's just the fact of an onside call that, the flag goes up. Otherwise, I think that'd have been a goal.
Josie Seehafer, captain senior for the Wildcats, doesn't like that call, thinks that's her throw. The assistant referee and the center referee disagree, so the Tigers will put it in play, far side, right there in front of the Wildcat bench. You certainly get a sense that the Wildcats in that little scramble, that might be the kind of thing that jump starts their attack. Ending with a header away will still produce a deeper Farmington corner. Take this opportunity to thank our award-winning ETV crew. Our executive producer is Josh Sipley. Our director is Jared Greenberg. Derek Badger and Nick Mudd are our camera folks. Thank you so much for making us look and sound good here on ETV, the class of high school sports, as you see the easy foul call earned by Triplet. And remember, there are all sorts of ETV sports on the webpage, on the YouTube channel, YouTube page, so you can get all sorts of old games, all sorts of other sports, boys volleyball, boys girls hockey, boys girls basketball, soccer, football, swimming, cross country, all sorts of things, lacrosse, I think even. I mean, it's baseball, of course, softball. So it's a plethora of opportunities. Speaking of a plethora of opportunities, the Wildcats have had a couple here recently. Let's see if they're going to earn the corner, and they do. Nice play by Triplet in the corner to earn the corner.
Pickup coming for the Wildcats. This is their
Wildcats' first goal of this game coming off a corner kick, the first one in the first half, just way back in minute number 2. Let's see if they can capitalize once again.
Weisendonner over it. She's got a natural left foot. It'll curl in. Comes towards the net, onto the back, and it's played away for another corner. That did not miss the back post by much, Skip Newton. That was nearly Kylie Weisendonner curling it in.
Yeah, you said a natural curling it in, and she almost did exactly that. A great ball there by Weisendonner. Of course, now that it's on this side, they'll switch it to another in-swinger with the right foot.
Bray with it. She heads for the back post. Weisendonner got up for it. Falls down for the Wildcats. They send it back in. It's into the blue paint. And now it falls for Burke. Sends it forward. Check it, that's Siljan. Cron with a big step. Cron feeds it forward. Looks for Leitenberg. Leitenberg goes to goal, and Leitenberg scores! Ava Leitenberg cashes in for the Wildcats. Brilliant shot to the far side. Soli really didn't have much chance, and it's 3-0 to the Cats.
Great pressure there by the Wildcats. The defense getting involved. Cron stepping up, making that pass to Leitenberg, and she finishes like she always does. But really, it was that team intense pressure there, just keeping it on and not letting Farmington completely clear it out of danger.
Well, that is the offense that the Wildcats were certainly looking for here in this second half. It took them a little while to get online, but let's see if that gives them the kind of boost that they need to maybe go on and score a couple more. So Ava Leitenberg with the goal, Kate Cron with the assist. Seehafer attacking the outside into Weisendonner. Weisendonner's got a left foot. She's going to go to goal. And that ball's right on the edge. It's spilled by Soli, and her defense rallies.
Now, did that go off Soli and off the post? I think she might have knocked that off the post. I know we won't get the replay, but that's what my not necessarily 100% eyesight saw.
Ava Leitenberg, the assist, number 16, Kate Cron.
The change of formation has led to more scoring opportunities. Clearly things are picking up here. I think this is exactly what Coach Q wanted to see. I know that's what we wanted to see. This has been a nice change in the last few minutes.
Wildcats did this against the Minnetonka Skippers, finding themselves down by a goal in the second half. They switched from a 4-back to a 3-back, ended up coming back and winning that game 2-1. And so the Wildcats have used these formational changes a couple of times already this season. Good foot skills on the far side that time by the Wildcats. Played to the middle from Jolstrom, who finds Triplet. Triplet spins to her right foot, right side. It's deflected. Falls for Siljan. Siljan can't unload the cannon. This ball gets pitched towards Leitenberg, and I'm not sure that the defense meant to do that, but Bray comes away with it. Bray with a left foot. Bray towards the goal, and Soli claims off of Colsant's foot. So 3-0, a lot more comfortable for the Wildcats than 2-0. I know that seems a bit axiomatic, but the reality of it is that a 2-0 lead always seems anecdotally to be one you don't want to have, as Charpentier takes out Jolstrom that time. Nicely done by Charpentier, but the Wildcats rally and take possession. I'd like to see the Wildcats just play some good fundamental soccer here, not try to be too fancy with the ball, just make the easy pass and wait for the Tigers to make a mistake or to give them an opportunity.
Leitenberg showing that speed there. It looked innocent. It looked like there was no pressure at all, but all of a sudden she got so close to that defender where she had to get rid of it quickly. She couldn't make a good play. She had to just get rid of it because of the pressure put on by Leitenberg. She just shut down that distance so quickly.
Ball comes in towards Kron. Kron taking that outside back position. She feeds that across for Enning, off of Enning's chest. So that's a situation where having only 3 at the back kind of hurts you, because Kron needed to go somewhere else with that ball. And now the Tigers will have a little bit of an opportunity to break as Enning with the defense. Tigers slide to the middle. Now they try to get it over to the far side, and that ball's going to find its way off the post. Needs to be a big rally here for the Wildcats, and Fall bails out Weissel as that ball was off the far post. It's still not a shot on goal, despite the fact that it was a shot that hit the goal. But alert play by Isabella Fall, burnishing her credentials as an all-state player, keeping that ball out of the net.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Weissel maybe got a hand on that to knock it out the post, or if it went off it clean. But we've seen a Wildcat shot off the post. Now Farmington returns the favor. Clearly the best scoring chance of the contest so far, and here we're halfway through the second half.
So we got an injury for the Tigers. Trying to see what number that is. Her Prof number 26 is going to have a seat for the Tigers. Groff, not Prof, excuse me. So replacements on the field, and so the Tigers will restart with a throw here near side.
Clock was stopped for the injury timeout.
So Unger puts it in play, finds Colsant. Colsant to the middle. It's punched away that time by Siljan. Good battle there in the middle with the midfielders, some of whom are club mates. That ball finds its way to the side as Enning's going to usher that out, and a throw for the Wildcats. Imagine if we see maybe one more goal, the Wildcats might start bringing in a few more substitutions as Fall puts that into touch. But the victory not absolutely certain for the Wildcats, but certainly starting to look that way as the Tigers just unable to really generate much consistent offense.
Yeah, I think the advanced analytics would put win probability well into the 95 to 99% at this point.
Bray with it, sends that forward. Leitenberg was making the run. Triplett had slowed down, but Leitenberg unable to come up to that. The defense puts it out. That's another situation where Bray has all sorts of room in front of her. If she attacks that aggressively, she can take all of that green space and put pressure on the defense. Instead, she slows down. She takes some pressure from behind, and then she puts the ball over the top. And, and it's just a situation where you get a sense that maybe the players all collectively need to get on the same page. Triplett, Leitenberg, Bray, when are you going to give me the ball? When do I need to make a run? That kind of thing.
And really, you're looking for that kind of connection and cohesiveness to have already developed by this point in a varsity season. It's a short season, as we've talked about. I mean, we just started a month ago as far as games, but we're a week and change away from section. So really, they've only got a few games left to fine tune things.
Free kick for the Tigers. Foul on Siljan. Ball comes in towards the Tigers. It's played away that time by the Wildcats. Finds Triplett. Triplett dispossessed. The ball gets switched to the far side. Seehafer giving chase there. Nicely done. Earns the throw. Wildcats in no hurry to take any of these throws, which kind of like to see if you're a Wildcat fan. Weisendonner lays that inside for Jolstrom.
Not quite the game-stalling techniques that we saw in the Arsenal-Man City match from this last weekend, but that was a clinic in how to slow things down with a 2-1 halftime lead and down a man for the entire second half. It was borderline absurd, but a little more sportsmanship here, I think.
Borderline absurd, you say? Not absurd, but borderline absurd.
Well, yeah, it was getting a little annoying as the viewer, but you got to do what you got to do down a man protecting a one-goal lead.
Cron with a heave. It's blocked down that time, and that ball's going to get into touch. I think this is going to be a Farmington throw. It is. I'd like to see Cron go over the top of everybody and let someone run onto that, but we'll see if she gets another chance here momentarily. And now, I understand that kick was nowhere near the other player. The other player didn't flinch, didn't bail out of that challenge. Leitenberg smiling like, what do you do? I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, a high kick is not against the rules. It has to be a dangerous play.
I mean, that ball was, and her foot was a good, 2-3 feet away from the other player? I mean, I just don't see how that's a dangerous play. Cron sends that to safety, looking for triplet. Here's Bray. Now Bray can attack. Bray feeds it forward. Oh, what a great run by Seehafer. Seehafer to the outside. She has it on her preferred left foot. Defense to the inside. And Seehafer scores for the Wildcats. Leaving no doubt, Josie Seehafer takes it from Macy Bray and drives it home. 4-0 to the Wildcats.
Just a brilliant ball played through to Seehafer. I mean, absolutely perfect pass. She was able to control it, take a couple of dribbles, set up her right foot, finishes perfectly. It's been the Seehafer and Leitenberg show as we would have predicted coming into this season. Those two deadly combo on the pitch, but man, what a through ball. We'll get the number on that, but that was absolute brilliance.
It was Macy Bray, number 11, Skip, who's going to get credit for that. It was after giving her a bit of stick a few minutes ago for maybe making a different decision than she maybe could have or should have. That time plays a beautiful, perfect ball, perfectly timed by both players. There was no lack of coordination in that situation.
Talked a little bit about the efficiency of the attack. We wanted to see more opportunities, but we do like the fact that they're capitalizing on the ones they got. We're seeing that here in the second half as well. I mean, it's not 2 out of 4 shots, but still 2 goals, 6 shots. They're really taking advantage of their opportunities.
Seehafer goes to goal. It's blocked down that time by the Tiger defense. Ball gets pitched over the top. Let's see if the Wildcats can get control of this in the midfield. Bodies falling all over the place. Seehafer with the ball. She's going to be given a little bit of space. Always a dangerous thing to do. Now Weisendonner with a little bit of space. This ball is across. It's diagonal. Nicely done to Leitenberg. Leitenberg fires right into Soley, and then Leitenberg scores again. It's a hat trick for Ava Leitenberg. 5-0 to the Wildcats.
Well, Leitenberg stuck with it. A great save by Soley on the first one, but there's nothing she could do with that rebound, and Leitenberg just absolutely buries the second opportunity. What else is there to say? It's the Leitenberg, Seehafer, Leitenberg, Seehafer, Leitenberg. Yeah, it looks like it's Seehafer's turn next.
Well, it's not going to be Seehafer's turn next, if and only because it looks like, I was going to say if Seehafer's being taken off, she's not being taken off. Seehafer is going to stay out there. Leitenberg is going to have a seat. Seehafer will stay on the field. Let's talk a little bit about the substitutes that have come on for the Wildcats. Westerman and Bumpers have taken their spots in the middle with Kosnick, Burke, and Ehrenberg. Horn and Rozga on the defense, as well as Illyria Yin back in. So another opportunity. Here's Bumpers to the outside. She's got great speed. She slides it negative. Beautiful ball. It sits there in the penalty area, looking for help, looking for a buddy. Couldn't find it, and it gets put into touch.
Nice pass across there. And more opportunities being generated by the Wildcats.
Goal for the Eagan Wildcats.
Great cross there by Bumpers again. Running onto it is Horn.
The assist, number 11, Macy
And ball
Bray.
finds its way. I think it's going to run all the way into touch. Burke, is going to let that run into touch.
Wildcats goal, second in the game for Josie
Throw for
Seahafer,
Ella
the
Horn.
assist.
There you see Evie Burke, one of the
Time 63.
Wildcat midfielders.
Scoring the fifth Eagan Wildcats.
Does a
goal.
great job of getting her head to the ball.
Ava Leitenberg, the assist.
And a
number
brilliant
10,
job
Weisendonner.
by Leitenberg tonight. Her second hat trick of the season. Had one against the Rosemount Irish. Now one against the Farmington Tigers.
Third in the game for Ava Leitenberg.
Into Bumpers. Bumpers feeds it across. Opportunity here for Kosnick. Doesn't quite come off. Seahafer. She's been left out there to try to complete her hat trick. Left foot. Seahafer. Deflection. It's in the back of the net. Josie Seahafer shoots. I'm not sure if it went off a Wildcat. It took a deflection off at least one defender. And the Wildcats explode for 3 goals in the space of only a handful of minutes to make it 6-0.
Yeah, explode is a great way to put it. All of a sudden, the goals just coming fast and furious here. 3 goals in the last 5, 4 goals this half, all in the last 12 minutes of play. And really, ever since they went to this new formation, it's been a completely different team.
Substitutions back in the game for the Wildcats. Back to the 66th minute. Back in, Olivia Ehrenberg, number 14.
And the Wildcats completing a couple of changes as
Mazda, number 15.
Wildcats bring in another player, and Seahafer has a seat. This ball will get played down into the corner. Rozga sends this forward for Horn. Horn picks out a couple of opportunities, slides that forward for Kosnick. That ball will be put into touch.
Also back in is Tess Triplet, number 7.
Triplet's going to come back in and take the spot of Seahafer, pushing Bumpers to the center forward position.
Is Olivia Erath, number 28.
Opportunity here for Horn. She's going to try to feed that down the side. I thought she might try to feed that down the side.
Her third goal of the game, number 18, Josie Seahafer.
Seahafer in the 68th minute,
Angelina Illyria Yin.
and Yin with the assist.
Time of the goal, 67 minutes.
So at halftime, it was 2-0, and we were thinking this might be a bit of a problem for the Wildcats as the Tigers might be able to climb back or claw back into this one.
Wildcats goal, third in the game for Josie
But in this case, the Wildcats looking every bit like a top 10
67-12.
high school girls team, at least in terms of finishing here in the second half.
Leah Dreyer going off.
Yeah, that third goal scored by Leitenberg, the assist went to Weisendonner, her second of the game, and now Elleria Yin gets an assist, her first of this game. So while the goals have all been by Leitenberg and Seahafer, the assists have been spread around quite nicely.
Well, the Wildcat girls a little bit different than the boys. On the boys' side, you've got probably 6 or 7 players that legitimately you could look at and say are going to be a threat to score. Noel being probably the chief among those. But here on the girls' team, it's been Leitenberg, Seahafer really as your 2 big really go-to guns, and they really attack that outside. And now, of course, not every goal has been from the outside in this situation, but they certainly know how to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, when the ball gets on their boots and they're in a position to either put it on to goal or to generate some sort of an attack, it just feels like their ability to do so successfully is so much greater than most of the girls that we watch on either team. And their intensity picks up, their skill level seems to pick up, and they just have that nose for making something happen and then finishing when they get the opportunity. And boy, have they connected here tonight.
Wildcats have brought in Yin and pushed Horn to the outside. So the Wildcats have actually gone back to a 4-back now with a 6-goal lead. Not necessarily looking to push players forward to try to create more offense. So the Wildcats, this ball gets fed a little bit heavy, but Westerman runs it down. Now Kosnick's going to have to get on her horse. She's going to send that and have it sent into touch around her, but nice run by Kosnick. The Wildcats with 4 at the back now, obviously trying to just maintain a shutout, maintain a clean sheet. But Westerman, Triplet have all scored this year. Kosnick has got a couple of goals on the season. Bumpers has got one or two. So both of these teams, I should say not both of these teams, all of these girls still on the pitch, still looking to get a goal or two as the Wildcats off of a nice cross that time, a powerful cross for Kosnick, and that creates a corner.
Yeah, really nice play there, and what she did was prove that you don't need to beat your girl clean to get off either the shot or the cross that you're looking to get off. And you just have to move quickly enough to one side or the other, whichever side you want, and then be ready to take that shot or to make that connection to put the ball across the field. And that's exactly what Kosnick did. Unfortunately, didn't quite put that corner where she wanted it, but a really nice play to set that up.
I like how firm that cross was. It's nice to, there's this idea that you have to wind up, and some players do have to wind up with their shooting motion, but that cross was, as a foul here against the Wildcats, that cross was nice and firm, flat. It was really, really nice, and had it not been blocked by a Farmington Tiger, might have been real trouble for Solely in front of the net.
Yeah, it was headed in the right direction for sure, and it was low, so it would have been playable for somebody had a Wildcat been on the receiving end.
Tigers going to use the remaining 7 minutes and around 20 seconds to, much like the boys team did, work on some things for next time, do what they can to make some momentum, find some good opportunities. It's ball for Burke for Westerman. Westerman dances to the middle and sends it over for Ehrenberg. Ehrenberg over for Bumpers. So Wildcats with a little bit of control here as Yin sends that forward for Bumpers, but Bumpers wasn't going that way. That's another situation where Wildcats a little wasteful in their possession there. And up by this many goals, I'd like to see them doing a little more directing traffic, like either Bumpers saying I'm going, pointing, saying here's where I want it, or saying something to her teammate, or maybe her teammate directing traffic. Not to waste the opportunity.
Yeah, like Bumpers looked like she was setting up the 1-2, right? Hey, give me the one, you make the go run, and I'll give it right back. Whereas instead, Hillary Yin sent her to the corner, and that's not where she was moving. So miscommunication there.
Ball getting switched all the way across, nicely done to Horn. Westerman and Horn. Westerman leaves it for Horn, nicely done. Now Kosnick gets it around one defender. I should say the defender made a nice rally that time as Kosnick had a step on her, and this will be a very deep throw here for the Wildcats. Let's see if Kosnick's going to take this or if Horn's indeed going to give it a heave. You see there Lindsay Colsant for the Farmington Tigers, one of their rising stars. So it will be Horn right near the stick. She's going to go for Triplet. Triplet gets it to her feet. Triplet to the middle, and nobody in a blue uniform. So unlucky that time for Triplet. Did a nice job of controlling it, but couldn't quite get the slot machine payoff.
Wildcats definitely able to create more opportunities, start connecting in that attacking third. It came in bunches. It came with the formation change, with the move from 4 back to 3 back, just putting that extra girl up front really seemed to change not really the ability to put more pressure on, but just the overall intensity that the game pace picked up dramatically for the Wildcats, and that was really the difference here. I mean, 4 goals in 12 minutes turned this one into a very lopsided game.
Both teams with some substitutions, and take this opportunity to thank the Wildcat Boosters, and the Wildcat Boosters would like to thank their platinum sponsors: Ansari's Chips Pickleball Club, the Eagan Hockey Association, Twin Cities Orthopedics, the Willie Team and Edina Realty, and Wave Soccer. Thanks so much for being platinum sponsors and sponsoring and supporting these student athletes. As a foul there against Westerman, and the fouls start to stack up here in this second half. Boosters would also like to thank the gold sponsors: Birchwood Dental, Raising Canes, Coldwell Banker, Rami Cormont, Dermatology Consultants, Eagan Arms, Eagan Football Association, Escape With Us Vacations, Homestead Auto, Salvo Soccer Club, Teresa's Triple Diamond Sports Cards and Collectibles, and the Urgency Room. Thanks so much for supporting these Wildcats. Triplett takes it, dances around one defender, feeds it forward for Kosnick. Kosnick around one defender. Kosnick with a big left foot. If Kosnick gets that shot on net, I think that's going to be in the back of the net. That had a lot of heat on it, a lot of swerve on it, but it swerved just a little too far.
Yeah, she found herself in a great position to put one into the net. Just misstruck that one. Not something you typically say off the boot of Kosnick.
Kosnick knocks that down, feeds it forward, that time for Bumpers. Bumpers makes the run. Defense did a nice job of pushing her out. Lyria Yin starts, stops, starts again, feeds it to the middle. Soli claims that. Nicely done by Soli. Good shot by Illyria Yin with just under 3 minutes to go.
Shot for the Wildcats.
And the Wildcats, as I said, in action this Saturday against Prior Lake. So a big game for the Wildcat girls. Prior Lake also a team in the others receiving votes area of the coaches poll. So big opportunity for the Wildcats to take on a team that's got a little bit of steam, and if they can get a victory there, certainly full steam ahead towards a conference championship and maybe a #1 seed.
Well, and currently coming into tonight, the team that the Eagan Wildcats are tied with in the conference standings. I mean, both teams are sitting there with 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. So, unsure of what Prior Lake is doing today, but as of right now, these two teams are tied.
Defense as Cron had checked back in with Fall. Let's check it. Fall had taken a seat. Razga and Cron are your center back pairing. Something that Isabella Fall doesn't come off the field too much. Skip, and to not see her out there feels a bit strange. I'm sure she's glad for the break, as she's logged a lot of minutes for this Wildcat team.
Well, and like you said, they've got a game in 2 days, so not a ton of rest for these girls. With a weekend game, which is a little more rare this late in the season. But they only have then the 2 games next week to finish off the regular season play, with a game on Monday at Eastview and then home against Apple Valley on Wednesday.
Wildcats into the last minute as Horn steps to the middle. Burke to the outside. Westerman lets that run and runs onto it. An effective move by Ellie Westerman. She attacks the edge of the penalty area. Westerman would dearly love to create a scoring opportunity. She gets it to Triplett. Triplett wants to shoot, can't shoot, now shoots. It's blocked. Nicely done. Yin with it. She's got the ball on her feet. She tries to go around one defender and earns a deep throw. Illyria Yin with a nice move there, but the Wildcats will see the last handful of seconds tick off the clock here in Wildcat country, and they will emerge winners of yet another South Suburban contest, maintaining their clean sheet. So that means in the last 5 games, Skip Newton, 1 goal conceded by this Wildcat team. Now again, obviously different teams are different places with respect to their abilities and scoring prowess, but that's a good record under any circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not giving up goals, you're not going to lose. That goal will not count, as the offside flag was up. So I believe the final score will be the result, same as the boys. I mean, both teams coming up with 6-0 victories. We wanted to see more connection, more scoring opportunities. They absolutely accomplished that here in the second half.
Well, the Wildcats have continued the run that they needed to be on. They've done everything they were supposed to do here tonight against a still developing Farmington Tigers team. Farmington Tigers will finish their season. They'll match up against Hastings on Saturday, a 12:30 game. The Wildcats, as I said, will be here on ETV and here at Eagan Stadium at 11 o'clock a.m. here against Prior Lake. So the Wildcats take care of business here tonight for our award-winning ETV crew. For my broadcast partner, Skip Newton. Final score here tonight, Forum Wildcat Stadium. Eagan Wildcats 6, Farmington Tigers 0. Good night, everybody.
Special thank you to our visitors from